Brian Curtred, and I'm here with Symmetrics Tech TV with another installment for you. Got an exciting new product to talk to you about. It's our AirTools Voice Processor 2X. It's a 2-channel, low-latency digital voice processor intended for broadcast. Symmetrics has been in the business of making broadcast voice processors since the late 70s. This is a long iteration of voice processors, and this is the new special next generation best of the best, and we are a industry standard for voice processors in the broadcast market. Now today the demo will be actually recorded through the 2X, so everything I do with the 2X software you'll actually be able to hear in real time in this demo. So hope you'll come check it out with me. We're going to just look at the software. It does connect to the AirTools 2X over Ethernet. Here's the software, what we're looking at. Of course you can see in real time we have inputs, we have that output meter. That is full real time. We see right at the top that we have normal integrator series, connection wizard, and some security settings, upgrade firmware. We're not going to really talk about that. We'll just kind of look at the rest of the software today. It is set to internal. It's set to 48 kilohertz for a sample rate. If I go to system, this is where I can see that there are some test tones for the channels. Sync source, either a word clock to an external clock or internal at 41, 44.1 or 48. Or I can also terminate the word clock with a touch of a button. And you see that there are then some digital options for how I'd like to route my analog inputs to the digital outputs, AES EBU outputs. So I'm just going to go back to the software though. We're going to look at the signal path. The signal path is very similar to our 528E, which is an industry standard analog voice processor. However, in the AirTools 2X, we've also added a high pass and a low pass filter. We've also given you the ability to have up to 50 presets. 10 of them are factory presets, but you could overwrite them if you wanted. But up to 50 presets. So your on-air talent can literally walk in and punch their name in, and they have their own settings for their own voice. Extremely flexible. Going to just look at the signal path here. You'll see that the signal path is in the input processing through a high pass and a low pass filter. Then through a de-esser, so it takes the S's out of your voice. The downward expander gets rid of low-level audio. There's an EQ for EQing the audio, a compressor, and then an output trim. And we'll look at those, and then we'll actually go through some of the presets so you can hear them. I'm going to don on a pair of headphones here so I can hear what you guys are hearing as we go through the different processes. So, just starting at the input, you can see here's where we choose our different mic presettings. Or a line level or a unbalanced signal, the -10 or +4, and we turn the phantom power on. I have a condenser mic that I'm using today, so phantom power is on. The next filter we can go to is the high pass and low pass filter, so I click edit. All of them are active right now because I am running a factory preset called noisy background aggressive. And you'll see there's a high pass filter on right now. I can adjust this in real time and you'll actually notice it took out all the low end of my voice, and now I've kind of allowed all the low end to come back in. We could also add a high pass filter if we wanted to as well, or excuse me, a low pass, where now I'm taking the high pass, the high content out of my voice, or deactivate it. The next part is the de-esser and expander. If I go there, you'll see that it's set to an aggressive de-ess. If I take it off, you'll hear lots more S's in my voice, and at times it can maybe be hissy. You put the de-esser on and it gets rid of the S's, only allows a small portion to come through. The downward expander gets rid of low-level noise. Now my room's actually a fairly noisy room, so if I deactivate this, you should be able to hear the room noise. So I'm going to do that right now. I think that's pretty impressive. You can definitely hear the room noise in the background there. And I activate it, and room noise is gone. Good clean signal. I also have an EQ. It's got a low shelf, a high shelf, and a low and a mid. If I grab one of these, let's say the mid, and I turn it up, you'll hear it turn up that band in real time, and then I can move it throughout the signal if I wanted. So I could add some more bass to my voice if I wanted to be one of those big bassy sportscasters or Howard Stern effect. Or I could even have add more high or more crisp tone to my voice if I wanted. I'm going to go ahead and just hit recall and go back to my original preset. The compressor is, here I'm looking at it as normal compression, different controls. I can adjust the threshold for more compression or lots, adjust the ratio. You notice it really takes the dynamic range out of my voice. But what it does is it squashes the dynamic range of any signal that goes through, be that an instrument, music, or a voice, in this case a voice. And by decreasing the dynamic range, it makes a much fuller sound. In fact, if I deactivate it, you'll see that my voice gets a little thinner. It has kind of a thin quality to it. As I activate it, it kind of gets a little beefier, and we can always beef it up by adding some more compression and then use the output gain to compensate for that. And the last stage we look at is the output trim. You have a line level signal or an unbalanced signal that you can send it out, and there's a voice symmetry switch, which just is used in broadcast, helps it broadcast evenly and gives it a little fuller sound. Now, I'd like to show you the presets. If you ever want to change a preset, let's say I wanted to add my low-pass filter to this preset, I can always do so and then hit store. I could decide to store it back over the original preset, or I could go store it in number 1, and I could call it aggressive maybe B or Ryan for my name. And when I'm done, I hit enter. Now it's preset number 1. That's the preset. I'll go through just a couple presets for you so you can hear the difference. There are some that are saying basic start, so it's a great place to start and then adjust later. So maybe here's a basic start aggressive. You can hear the different tonal quality. It's added a little bass to my voice with the shelf filter. And see what the EQ is doing maybe. We can also go to a condenser mic start, and you can hear a slight change there as well. So it's a great way for you as you're dialing in the 2X for your own personal application to just go through the factory presets, see which one sounds the best for you, and then make adjustments accordingly to the different modules. So I'm going to do a ultra smooth. Here's the ultra smooth. I think it's got a nice, big, thick, loud sound. Aggressive dynamic control. Here's another preset. You can hear it's definitely got the bassier tone, so I sound like a radio talk show host. The noisy background we did already. And what's interesting, if I want to see what it is without processing, I can always hit the DSP bypass button here at the top. And now you hear my voice without any processing. So you can really hear the difference of what it would sound like if I was just talking over a podcast with a regular mic into my computer. That's what you're hearing right now. Or if I add some processing, you can hear how much thicker and richer it gets. There's even the ability to do things like make it sound like you're talking over a telephone. For instance, if I recall this one, now I actually sound like I'm talking to a telephone. You could have a fake caller in if you wanted while you're on the air and pretend like you have somebody calling right in, and yet they're just in the studio with you on the second channel maybe. And there's also an AM radio sound. So here we get our AM radio sound. So you can do a lot with these presets. It's not just limited to making it sound like a normal voice. Or we can overhype it. Now this is, nice and loud and very extreme on the ends. Personally, in my situation, I thought the noisy background aggressive was probably one of the better and more natural sounding presets. So that's what I recalled. You can always go manage presets. You can always restore them, delete them. I mentioned that there's some security, so you can lock the front panel. You can lock the unit so somebody can't change IP addresses and so on. But this is a turnkey DSP solution for voice processing in the broadcast environment. I would like to say go to symmetricsaudio.com, go to our AirTools page, and download the AirTools 2X voice processor software. It's free, it's unregistered, and that's true for all our software. We never require you to register. So download it, take a look at it, play around with it. Maybe you'll want to get an AirTools voice processor 2X in your broadcast situation or for your podcast. Only can help you out. It's going to add wonders to your voice. A super high fidelity voice processor. That's at www.symmetricsaudio.com on the AirTools page. Feel free to call me if you have any questions at 425-778-7728. My name is Ryan Curtright, and once again, thanks for tuning in.